This is to record how I am doing today because I'm gonna keep track of things for the next little while, possibly, or at least I'm gonna try that starting now. I've been on a health journey for like 12 years, and I've recently stopped the medications I was taking for MS, and I don't really know where to start with all this, but I'll start here. And due to side effects, one of the side effects was my hair. It like completely fried my hair. Sometimes that's not a major issue for people, but for me it exacerbated other hair and skin issues. And I basically just have so many health problems that it stopped making sense to me because the medication, I had to inject it every day. It was really painful. The pain would last all day. And they just, thought I had to deal with that. And that's just how it was. And I kept feeling really pressured by my doctors, some of them, to stay on it. And so when I stopped, I didn't feel like I had any support. It also left like these big horrible indents in my legs, which I could stand up and show, but maybe some other time. This is just a starting place. I wanted to start here because I'm feeling like relatively clear-headed today, when often I don't, and yet I'm still not entirely clear-headed because I had to take Seroquel to go to sleep last night. I took beta blockers as well. And I slept for 6.5 hours, which is really long for me. Normally it's more like three hours on average. And that is really difficult, really exacerbates a lot of symptoms. So that's why I wanted to make a little video here right now, because I had about 6.5 hours sleep last night when lately I've only been getting about 3 regularly. So I feel better today because of that. I don't feel wonderful. I feel really groggy. I'm in pain, but it's not. Yesterday I was in like an extreme amount of pain, all inflammatory type burning pain, like all through my shoulders, particularly the left. This arm gets really fatigued sometimes, and it was just yesterday, it just felt like dead weight. And I did do some cooking the day before, so that's probably why. But I think the lack of sleep does something with my pain cycle that's really bad. Where it's flaring, and then the flare just doesn't really stop, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna stop that train of thought and start a new one. I'm really bad at segues sometimes. I started working with a naturopath. I have only had one appointment. It was about a week ago. It was a consult appointment. I filled out some questionnaires. This doctor really thinks what I'm struggling with may be, a part of what I'm struggling with, and that is unresolved, undiagnosed, misunderstood, not understood, overlooked. Anyway, chronic inflammatory response syndrome due to potentially mold and other heavy metals maybe, and other toxins basically that I'm carrying around in my body. And she made a really good argument for people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a genetic condition, and I was born with it. We have weak collagen. Essentially, there is a part of the collagen, one of the collagen genes is missing, they really think, but they may have found it. I think there's been a lot of research here, and they're still trying to really pin it down. From what I heard, I think they may have found the gene recently. There was some theory about it being the 3rd collagen gene last time I looked into it, but I don't even know where that's all at now. So cat is right here. Sorry, he's so cute. He's really distracting. So much has happened in my life in the last while, and I haven't shared with anyone, and I've been really quiet on the internet since my dog died. I've been really quiet on the internet, except for Facebook, because because the people on there, I feel like I've honestly taken so many people off Facebook. I don't know. I don't really know how you're supposed to use Facebook, but I just feel like I've narrowed down who's on there to people I'm not worried about in any kind of way being bad. So when I'm public on the internet, I get sort of concerned for reasons. Even though I get that, people can take screenshots, anything really is public, but there's something about it where it's like, I hesitate a lot with YouTube these days. I mean, and TikTok it's basically, I know I have the cat on there, I have a lot of things on there, but I feel at this point, like, it's too much of a memorial to my dog that passed. I'll go on it. I've almost lost my password. I retrieved it. Anyway, I can get into the account as far as I know, knock on wood, right now. I'm having some issues with Instagram because I had logged out for so long. So, and my Instagram was private, but it was like new friends on there as opposed to old friends, and there's something about being vulnerable around people you haven't been vulnerable around before, when all these other people you've known forever have seen it before. And I don't care what people think. I can't afford to. With my health, I just can't afford to care. So, like, if I come off as weird or an asshole, like, I don't honestly care that much. And I think people are these days kind of offended by how much I don't care when I offend someone else. I don't want to be a difficult person. I'm just, it's like you feel like you're in crisis mode all the time when you have health problems and you think you've just gotten to the bottom of something, and then something else comes up and you just, you can't, like, do anything with your life. You lose every aspect of your identity. You, like, forget who you are. Like, I've had a lot of issues with dissociation and depersonalization, actually, recently, and that is another thing. I feel like the MS meds made those episodes worse. Like, I do not really understand how, but that's why I started looking into so much. I mean, and I think it's just my particular body being maybe not typical in many ways, just because of, oh, that's bright, eh? It's just this windy, it's nice out. I mean, a new symptom I have, not to get off course again, but I don't really think I had a course planned necessarily. I'm light sensitive now, and I used to love the sun until like a year ago, and now it's like, it just is too bright. So I don't know if I should apologize for, like, not being around, but I'll be back around. It's just, there's been so much happening. I've just been having a hard time. The dog passed away, Sadie. I had her for 12 years, but I think she was about 15 when she passed. I got her at the Humane Society, and she was 3, I think, when I got her, I think. She had cancer, and it was terminal, but when I worked with the veterinarians, we decided to treat it, and we treated it pretty aggressively, and the treatment is what ended up causing the end of her life, a reaction to the treatment. So I don't know, that made me feel really awful, even though she was terminal anyway. It costed a lot of money, and that's not even important. I don't have the money, but I got help from my family. It's like, the money aside, I listened to the doctors. And it was several other different doctors I had to work with Sadie's cancer treatment, just because it's a pandemic. All of the veterinarians are dealing with issues because of that. So we had to drive all the way to Montreal for some of it. Then we ended up getting it here, but I almost feel like she was passed around too much for them to really understand her, which is like, I'm supposed to be her advocate. I know this is a dog, and I know she was gonna die anyway. I have her remains, some of her remains in this little necklace I wear all the time, even in the shower. She was like my soulmate, this dog. So I think when she passed, and the way she passed and how it was kind of traumatic. And then my health issues were exacerbated around that time just because I had to take care of her, so I kept having POTS flares. POTS is postural orthostatic tachycardia. It makes your heart beat really fast when you stand up and sit up. Sometimes, depending, it's sitting up as well sometimes. Like I'm experiencing it a little bit now. It's better if I recline. That'll make it a lot better most of the time. But when I'm standing, it's really bad. So I was walking around a lot. I was going to the vet like every couple of days. She was staying at the vet, so I was driving a lot, and I was just really pushing my body, and I wasn't sleeping because I was so worried about her. Since then, I still am not sleeping very good, and I didn't really know when that. I think it built up slowly, the not sleeping. It's just gone out of hand. It was just a trying time, and I got ill, kind of trying to take care of her, and I just remember I couldn't get even off my back some days, and it really sucked because I needed to walk her. So I ended up, it's a pandemic, but I ended up needing help from family and stuff, so I had to have family come help. They live hours away, and you know, it just had gotten really dire at that point. And sorry, so many pauses. It's because I'm trying to catch my thoughts, and they're hard to catch. They're just swirling around in there, and I just sometimes can't get a hold of them. I've had I don't know how to call it. Part of this is just, I'm feeling hopeful about my health in a sense, but I'm also in the thick of it. I have mini MS flares often. My MS neurologist, the new one, had told me like that's to be expected, and you know, I don't enjoy it, and I wish there was some treatment for it. And then also my hand is messed up. I think I'm going to pursue prolotherapy. I found someone locally. Apparently this is a good thing for people with Ehlers-Danlos and craniocervical instability, which is why I had the spine fusion. I always forget I had a craniectomy and a spine fusion together, so I probably have like bone spurs and shit from like looking at my phone and stuff like everybody's got these days, but I probably have them worse because I had this surgery. I have the instability. I really think I have the instability lower down, and I think it's affecting my arm, but they really tend to just write off what's going on with my arm. So I think I'm going to have to seek another specialist, pay out of pocket for more privatized healthcare, which this is how it is in Ontario, and it's really funny because they make you think we have universal healthcare, but we just do not. We have certain things covered, but it really is the bare minimum, and if you just get stuck in that system, you're like in a loop where you just get bounced around from specialist to specialist, and no one looks at the whole picture, and it just becomes very aggravating and impossible. So I'm trying to take control now more so, and I've always been proactive, but it has to be even more now. So anyway, I'll make an update later, but I just wanted to say I'm feeling not as bad today as some days, but I feel not good. But I don't want anyone worrying why I'm not around. I'm still here. I'll come back. Thanks for understanding.